Angela Yee. Dan, my producer, is in the building with me today.
Good morning, Ange.
We're going to let you get some shine because in a couple of months, you're getting ready for your wedding.
I am.
And I know you're going to be taking some time off from work.
I am.
How much time do you get off from work, like, to get married?
I don't know. That's a good question. But my honeymoon's 2 weeks, so.
A 2-week honeymoon?
Mm-hmm.
Is that how long honeymoons normally are?
Well, it's 12 days.
Okay, but I'm saying, like, let me Google this. The average length.
See, we're
of
going
a
to Bali, so we don't want to just make it a couple days.
Yeah, that's a long
it's
trip.
a whole 24 hours just to get there.
Average length of honeymoon. All right. Well, last night was an amazing night. I hosted the screening for One of Them Days.
Awesome.
That's the Issa Rae produced movie starring SZA, her first ever time starring in a movie, and Keke Palmer, who is amazing.
And they were at your screening?
And they were at the screening.
Awesome.
All right. So we're going to talk about that today. I'm not going to give you any spoilers other than what you already know about the movie from the trailer. But when I tell you what a great night last night was. All right. Well, let's start the show off with some love and some positivity. 800-292-5150. Call us up. Let's shine a light. It's way up.
I'ma shine.
Turn your lights on, y'all.
Turn your lights on.
Spreading love to those who are doing greatness.
Shine a light on them. Shine a light on them.
It's time to shine a light on them.
All right, it's Way Up with Angela Yee, and it's time for me to shine a light and then for you to shine a light, spread some love. Today, I want to shine a light on Maddie Z. She's a 10-year-old Zoe. She's starting her very own lip gloss, and her business is called Maddie Z. She's been working really long hours making sure that she perfected these glosses and lip oils for her customers. And they're all vegan, non-GMO with no animal cruelty. Her mom actually reached out to me. Her mom is a traveling licensed massage therapist practitioner. And she was so excited that her daughter is starting her own business and is an entrepreneur at the age of 10 that she was like, look, I want to send you some of these and I want to make sure that we have your support. So again, that is Maddie_Z_gloss. So shout out to them. I love the fact that the mom is an entrepreneur and she's already starting her daughter on the path of having her own business, but also knowing the importance of having ingredients that have no animal cruelty, that are vegan, that are non-GMO. That's some things that you need to teach your kids early. So you pay attention to the ingredients, but also learning the skills that it takes to actually have a line of products. And who knows how this is going to affect her in the future. So we love that. All right. Now, who do you want to shine a light on? 800-292-5150. Nicole, who do you want to shine a light on?
I want to shine a light on you because I had the last week and a half off, but I still got up to work and you were not there for me. So I'm shining a light on you. I'm happy you're back.
Oh, me too. It feels good to be back. Well, thank you so much. You know, like I said, a lot of people had to work this whole time. This is the one time of the year that we're like off for a period of time, but that's dope.
Yes, I was off too, but I had an internal audit, so I have to still work.
Okay, all right.
I listen to you every day, and you know, I like all the updates you give. I like everything you talk about. I missed you. I missed you.
Well, get ready for this Yee tea because it's piping hot every day. Always something going on.
All right, thanks. I'm listening. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
All right, well, that was Shine a Light, 800-292-5150. You can still call us up and shine a light for last word. And when we come back, we have your Yeetie, Shaq and Dwight Howard. Who knew this feud was escalating the way that it was? But apparently, Shaq is not going to speak Dwight Howard's name at all anymore. So let's see how true that is. But we got your Yeetie next. It's Way Up.
They say it's truth in the rumors.
From industry shade to all the gossip, Angela's spilling that Yee tea.
It's Way Up with Angela Yee. Time for that Yee tea. Now let's get into this feud between Shaq and Dwight Howard. Man, so Dwight Howard went on Ray Daniels' show, the God Show podcast, and had some things to say about how Shaq is behind the scenes, blocking him from getting opportunities. I guess they've had this beef for, over a decade now, and here's what he had to say about Shaq.
Never disrespecting him, but he's always had something to say. And, there's times where I gotten upset and I'm like, yo, Shaq, this got to stop, man.
Oh, so you actually talked to him about it?
I tried to. And at this point, I'm like, do we need to throw hands? It do be personal. He done said stuff and he keeps saying stuff. And then certain things that I don't get on, it's because he has behind closed doors made sure that I'm not on it.
Ooh, Dan, I got to ask you, is that true, you think? Like, do you think Shaq be hating on Dwight Howard and talking about him all the time?
I really haven't seen much of it. I don't know. But he said a lot of it's happening behind the scenes.
Right. But, I think he's also saying that he makes jokes about him and says...
Yeah, I also know that Dwight Howard called himself Superman and Shaq was the original Superman.
They
so
were
I
saying
wonder
that's
if
why the
yeah,
beef started.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But it's interesting that Dwight Howard has an issue with this because this is the same thing that Royce, his ex, accused him of,
Royce
right?
Reed.
Yeah, Royce Reed is blocking her from things and opportunities. And so she even started a GoFundMe and said that she's suffering from depression and self-harm attempts. And she said, for over 17 years, I've dealt with harassment threats, defamation, career loss. Remember, he had a restraining order against her where she wasn't allowed to even say his name, a cease and desist. And so when she did Basketball Wives, she wasn't allowed to even talk about him. And so that prevented her from other opportunities too.
But Shaq responded to Dwight, right?
Right, no, he did. I was just saying that it's interesting that he's saying behind the
For
scenes that Shaq has been blocking him, and it's kind of the same thing that Royce Reed accused him of. Now, they had some back and forth on social media. Shaq said, Dwight Howard, the fact you think I care about you is funny, but I won't ever bring your name up again. Sensitive big man, a jokester that can't take a joke, won't ever say your name again, ever again. I mean, ever. Have a great day. And now you have been deleted. Have a great day. And then he put a bunch of hashtags. Well, Dwight Howard then said, I know you care because your insecure ass been hating and talking ish for 20 years. You too big to be this insecure. I hope you don't bring my name up again. 52 years old, tweeting me and still hating. Now, all this time you was joking. You always been jealous of Kobe, Penny, D-Wade. You jealous of Charles too. Go move around, big, lazy, insecure ass. And he went on and on. And here's what else he had to say. He went live after this whole exchange and said this.
Two people on fight, Rob Pelinka and Shaquille O'Neal. Now let me stop. Y'all take that too far.
And Pelinka's the GM for the Lakers.
Correct.
Okay, but we'll see what happens. Maybe he will never say his name again. Maybe that's the best move. Well, that is your Yeetie. When we come back, we have About Last Night. And I told you guys, I had an amazing time yesterday hosting the screening for One of Them Days starring SZA and Keke Palmer. When I tell you that movie was so good, I am not even exaggerating. The movie was amazing. So we'll talk about it. It's way up.
So, about last night. Here's how it went down.
It's way up with Angela Yee, and it's time for About Last Night. Now, normally, Dan, I would let you talk, but Nick Navy, who's running the boards, he was actually at the screening last night as well. And Julie, who's in the movie, we were all there. When I tell you One of Them Days, that's the movie that Issa Rae produced that is starring SZA and Keke Palmer. Everybody wanted to go see this movie. At the last minute, people were like, do you have an extra seat? Do you have this? Do you have that? So it was not easy to get in there. And SZA and Keke Palmer actually were there, which was unexpected.
She's beautiful in person. More beautiful in person.
Who, SZA and Keke Palmer?
Both of them.
Both of them looked amazing in person and in the movie.
Yeah,
when I tell
definitely.
you, they look so good on the screen. So I was able to introduce them. The two of them didn't even need me because the chemistry that they have with each other, the way that they joke around, you could tell Keke Palmer is definitely a veteran when it comes to acting. But for SZA, this was her debut acting role, and she killed it.
Definitely.
And it was interesting because before we actually showed the movie, she was like, you guys give me grace. This is my first movie. And so I'm like, is she going to be really bad in this? But she was amazing. And so what did you think, Navy, about SZA and her first ever role?
I honestly couldn't tell.
Yeah.
For a long time, I thought they were playing themselves.
Yeah, it seemed like they were really comfortable around each other. And I also have to credit Keke Palmer for that because she is an expert and she's a pro. And SZA even said that's what made her more comfortable when I asked her how did she manage to prepare for this. But this was actually written by Sarita Singleton. So shout out to her because the writing was also phenomenal for this movie.
Definitely.
The jokes really were all landing. There was not a joke that didn't land. I am so happy the movie was as good as it was because Issa Rae produced it. And these are all people who I absolutely adore. And I would have hated to have to be honest and say I didn't like it if it wasn't good. But this is going to be, I think, a classic.
Definitely.
Kind
The
of
whole
like
theater
how
was...
Bridesmaids was a classic. Hangover is a classic. Friday's a classic. It gives that type of vibe. And so I'm just telling y'all, when does it come out? January 17th?
Yes.
Is that the date? Y'all definitely need to go and see that. Shout out to Lawrence Lamont, who also directed this. He's from Detroit. And one of the premises of this movie, though, is that This is not a spoiler because if you look up what this movie's about, this is what it's about. They have to pay their rent. It's one of them days and everything is going wrong, right? So SZA's character has a boyfriend and he basically steals their rent money to start a t-shirt line. It's in the trailer. And so I want to ask you guys who are listening, have you ever dated somebody and they stole from you? Imagine you think this is my significant other, this person loved me, and now they done stole my money or my purse or whatever it is from my house. I want to ask you guys, is this something that's ever happened? Navy, have you ever been stolen from?
A couple times.
Wow, so this is like a chronic situation for you.
It was all the same person.
And would they steal money?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Like 150.
Oh, and did you continue to date?
Unfortunately.
Okay, so you really gave her the money.
I got it back.
But 800-292-5150. Call us up. Has your partner ever stolen money from you? That's 800-292-5150. Call us up. Let us know.
Look.
Yeah, what's happening? You wanna know my name?
Way Up with Angela Yee.
Turn me on.
Yes, it's Way Up with Angela Yee. And we are talking about if somebody's ever stolen money from you that you were dating. Now, this all comes from the movie One of Them Days. This movie is starring Keke Palmer and starring SZA and directed by Lawrence Lamont, produced by Issa Rae. And the whole premise of the movie is SZA's boyfriend steals their rent money and they have to figure out how to get this money within one day. By that night, they have to pay their rent or they're going to get kicked out onto the street. Has something like this ever happened to you where maybe, and it might not have to be rent money, but maybe you were dating somebody and they stole from you? Now, our board up Nick said that he did date somebody who stole from him a couple of times, right?
Yeah, when I was in college, I dated a girl who had my debit card on her DoorDash account, and she would buy all her friends' food and her roommates' food. I used to be driving around.
You're like a trick.
Yeah. Whoa. Don't do that to me. So, yeah, I'll get notifications from Chase like, hey, you just spent $120 or $60
Why did you cut it off?
I did, but at first I didn't know, like, what was happening. I don't know. I thought my sisters had my card or something.
Okay,
Come to find out. No.
I'm trying to think if anybody's I've dated has ever stolen from me. I don't think so, but I will say I've lent somebody money and they never paid me back. So I don't think that's technically stealing, but maybe it is. Well, we want to hear from you guys. 800-292-5150. Tina, has a partner ever stolen money from you?
They didn't steal money, but what they did steal was a $5,000 ring that I had purchased for myself. Yeah, they did. And, I mean, we had been dating for like about 3 years.
And what did he do with your ring?
Gave it to a whole nother chick.
How did you find out?
Just, you know women's intuition, and you creeping and, you just looking through stuff and just being nosy, and I just happened to find this other chick's number. And then she's like, oh, yeah, that's my fiance. I'm like, your fiance?
He proposed with your ring?
Yes, ma'am.
She should have gave that back. I wouldn't even want no stolen ring from somebody you was cheating on me with.
But some women, they try to get it however they can get it. So it is what it is.
Oh, my God. Well, thank you for calling and sharing. That's wild.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
All right, thank you.
But I love you, Yee. I love you.
Too.
You are so good on the radio. Be good.
All right, you too. Hey, Kari.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, enjoying this beautiful weather.
Have you ever had somebody you were dating steal from you?
I did. Well, not from me, but from my 9 and my 10-year-old.
What? What did they steal? The piggy bank?
$30 from my 9-year-old, and I think it was like $45 from my 10-year-old.
What? And how did you find out?
The kids ended up telling me, and they never steal money from each other because they always have money. So I asked him, I'm like, my guy, you literally stole from a 9 and 10-year-old? He denied it, but we knew it was him.
Oh, my gosh. And so that was it for him. Wow, that's crazy.
That was, oh, God. Yeah, cut him up so quick.
All right, thank you. What an idiot. He's got a problem.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Kari.
Thank you.
Remo, what's good?
Angela, what's going on? I'm so excited. I love your show.
Thank you. Now, have you ever had somebody you were dating steal money from you?
Actually, I've stolen the money from somebody I was dating.
Remo, what happened?
Listen, he was sick in the hospital. I had to run back and forth to the store and stuff, take care of him. He told me to go downstairs and get $100 off the card. I took $400 and gave him $3.
You took $4. Wow. And did he say anything to you while he was sick in the hospital?
No, after he got out. He's like, you stole from me. I want my money back.
Okay, he's not
He
wrong.
loved me. He didn't get it back. Yeah.
And you continue to deal with this person?
Of course.
Wow, I would never trust you to take my card again. What made you think that was okay?
Because, listen, I had to run errands and everything. It was COVID. I wasn't working. So I needed to be paid.
All right, Remo. I don't know how to feel about that, but thank you for calling.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Okay, you little thief. Now, what I got from this is that men steal, because all these women have men steal from them, and then Remo is the person who actually stole. All right. Well, thank you guys for calling 800-292-5150. You can still call us up and leave a message for last word. And when we come back, we have your Yee tea, and let's talk about Meta, aka Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg has announced that he's going to get rid of fact checkers and reduce censorship. We'll tell you what he had to say. Oh my goodness, it's way up.
Yo, she about to blow the lid up off this pot. Let's get it. Oh yeah. Angela's spilling that Yee tea. Come and get the tea.
It's Way Up with Angela Yee, and it's time for your Yee tea. Now, let's talk about what's going on with Meta. And, that's basically Facebook and Instagram. Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO, has announced today that he is going to reduce censorship and get rid of fact checkers. Here's what he had to say.
We're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes, similar to X. After Trump first got elected in 2016, the legacy media wrote non-stop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth. But the fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created. So over the next couple of months, we're going to phase in a more comprehensive community notes system.
Okay, well, this should be interesting because what he's saying is that now taking away these restrictions also means that a lot of the bad stuff won't get caught. So that is the trade-off for that. Now, here's what else he had to say about taking down posts and people's pages that are spreading misinformation or are abusive.
We're changing how we enforce our policies to reduce the mistakes that account for the vast majority of censorship on our platforms. We used to have filters that scanned for any policy violation. Now, we're going to focus those filters on tackling illegal and high-severity violations. And for lower-severity violations, we're going to rely on someone reporting an issue before we take action. The reality is that this is a trade-off. It means we're going to catch less bad stuff, but we'll also reduce the number of innocent people's posts and accounts that we accidentally take down.
This is all interesting, and obviously this is all happening because Donald Trump has been reelected, and he definitely wants to make sure that he is in good with Donald Trump. So it feels like, and remember, he was banned from the platform when back, 8 years ago? And so now to see that he's like, okay, we're going to do everything that Donald Trump wants us to do. This is pretty interesting. Dan, my producer, I got to ask you, what do you think this is going to mean? Because it's interesting to me also how people talk about concerns for safety, concerns for abusive things on social media, and also concerns for truth, but then to get rid of fact checkers.
Yeah, I'm really curious how this is going to play out, because also, what then deems, what becomes dangerous? Where's that gray area of, what deserves to be taken down automatically versus what needs to be reported? I feel like that gray area is just going to grow larger and larger, and no one's going to really know.
Because I feel like it's been such a conversation about kids and how social media is affecting the next generation. Right. And this is now a step backwards from trying to protect children, right?
Yes, but at the same time, you do have to understand that, social media did have to do something about, posts just getting taken. People would say, nothing, and then the AI would scan it, and it would get taken down. So I understand the need to figure out something, but I'm really curious to see what's deemed, dangerous and wrong and how things get pulled down.
Last week, Instagram also did something different. They actually had accounts that were created by Facebook, and they were actually sharing real photos and commentary they were having conversations that were generated by AI and engaging with other accounts using an AI conversational engine. So there was some backlash. So that's going to be interesting to see how AI is going to play a role in all of this too, moving forward, because it's Meta, But we'll keep our eye on it and keep you guys updated on what's going on. I think one of the main things, though, is that we saw from this election that X has a lot of power. We saw previously Facebook has a lot of power in where people go to get their information. We need more things. We need more options, and we need things that feel more safe.
Yeah, and Zuckerberg just brought in Dana White, the founder of UFC, to be on the board now. That's his third Republican hire, so it is
Joel
interesting.
Kaplan is the newly appointed chief of global affairs.
Yes, to see how politically driven this has become.
This is all them being allies for Donald Trump and doing what he wants them to do. All right, well, that is your Yeetie. When we come back, under the radar, the stories that are not necessarily in the headlines, they're flying under the radar. Right now, here's some Kid Cudi, Day and Night.
News. I got news. This in the news that relates to you. These stories are flying under the radar.
It's Way Up with Angela Yee, and we are going under the radar now. These stories that we definitely think you need to know about. This is good news. There's a new rule on medical debt that could affect millions of Americans' credit scores. They will remove medical debt from credit reports. That's a new rule. So that would erase an estimated $49 billion in unpaid medical bills from the credit reports of roughly 15 million Americans. That can help people be able to borrow money and get mortgages or any type of loan because it does help boost their scores by an average of about 20 points. They said no one should be denied economic opportunity because they got sick or experienced a medical emergency, and this will be life-changing for millions of families. I agree with that, because it is hard, and those medical bills are out of control sometimes, and that is something that can devastate you financially. So that rule is set to take effect in March, but they are saying that timeline could be delayed by legal challenges. There's debt collection industry groups that have opposed that change. Also, think about the type of stress you go through from having collectors call you nonstop. Like every time your phone rings, sometimes it's embarrassing because it rings and somebody's next to you and they see that there's a debt collector calling, or you answer by accident. And then you're like, what? Who is this? What is this? And then you just hang up. Yes, Dan, you want to say?
I was going to say, or the people that don't go to the doctors because they don't want to have to deal with those bills. Yeah.
They don't want to. Actually, not to bring up this movie One of Them Days again, but there's a scene where they're in an ambulance and they get out and they're like, this is $2,000. We got to get out of here. Because just calling an ambulance and getting in one is not a game. That's like, you could get hit by a car and you're like, I'm not calling an ambulance because I don't want to have to pay that medical bill.
I've been skipping specialists because of my back. Because I don't want to pay those bills.
But don't
the bills are crazy.
Yeah.
I have a high deductible. So it's like, yeah.
All right. Now, the former owner of Modell's wants to save Party City and Big Lots. I'm not going to lie. I was very sad when Party City was going out of business. And Big Lots, it's like nostalgic for me. My grandfather used to love for me to take them. So he said that he was actually at an event at Mar-a-Lago Resort, and he got the idea to buy these and put his sons, Matthew 23 and Maxwell 22, in charge as co-presidents. Not anybody qualified. Never mind. I'm not even going to say it. But put his sons in charge of it. And so he does have a line of veteran team of executives to evaluate a possible deal. That's interesting, because didn't Modell's go out of business?
Yeah, a couple years ago.
All right. Well, that is your Under the Radar. You know, we have the Way Up mix at the top of the hour, plus Yeetie is on the way. We have Ask Yee. And of course, I want to ask you guys, I saw this article about keeping your home clean. People are saying that's harder than your job, making sure that you keep your house clean. That is very challenging. We'll talk about all of those things. It's Way Up.
Just like to talk like they Angela Yee, like they Angela Yee.
Man, she's spilling it all. This is Yeetie. Way Up.
It's Way Up with Angela Yee. Let's get into this Yeetie. First of all, let's shout out to our friend Carlos King. He posted, "Baby, my podcast is on TV, y'all. Reality with the King special episode starts airing this Friday, January 10th at 8/7 Central on OWN. It's a must-see every Friday night." Congratulations. Carlos King be putting in that work. And he knows all the tea, and he gets people to open up. So we love that for you, Carlos King. All right, now Fox has released a statement after this lawsuit. Now, this lawsuit is from Miss Faraji, who's a former hairstylist for Fox Sports 1. She has a lawsuit where she alleges that Joy Taylor used sexual relationships with Emmanuel Acho, who is a co-host, and Charlie Dixon, Fox Sports Executive Vice President in charge of talent, to further her career. Also accusing her of scheming to protect her job at the network by lying about being sexually assaulted by Dixon if there was ever any issues. She also has accused Fox Sports employees of sexual misconduct, retaliation, and more. She says that Skip Bayless also had alleged hostile workplace issues with her, and that he offered $1.5 million to her in exchange for sex, and also that Charlie Dixon groped her buttocks. All right. Well, Fox Sports has released a statement, and they said, we take these allegations seriously and will allow the legal process to run its course. We have no further comment at this time. I don't know what else we expected them to say, right? What else can you say? They better take it seriously, and you can't say more until the legal process takes place. All right. Speaking of legal processes, T.I. and Tiny, we know about this whole lawsuit victory that they got, right, with the dolls that look like the OMG girls. They sued MGA Entertainment for trademark infringement. And if you guys recall, they got a huge $71 million in this lawsuit for punitive damages. $53 million was for punitive damages. Well, the judge has now lowered that to $17 million. And that is because they said the company will not be on the hook for that $53 million in punitive damages. So that's a huge hit to what the amount was supposed to be. And lastly, Dwight Howard has invited Shaq on the podcast to hash out their issues. He said, I don't want people to get entertained by two black men going back and forth over petty stuff. I don't want to bicker. I just want to settle this like the two successful Hall of Fame black men we are. You're the most dominant center of all time. Come on to the podcast and let's hash this out. That's right, Dwight Howard. Get them numbers. Because why wouldn't you? All right, well, that is your Yee Tea. When we come back, we have Ask Yee, 800-292-5150. Any question you have, we're here to help you out. It's Way Up. Oh, Drake and Rihanna, take care. We'll never probably see this duo again. It's Way Up.
Whether it's relationship or career advice, Angela's dropping facts. So you should know. This is Ask Yee.
What's up is Way Up with Angela Yee, and it is time for Ask Yee. 800-292-5150 is the number. Any question you have, I'm here to help. Now we have somebody who called in and left a voicemail. Here is that voicemail.
I want some advice. How do I get my kids back? I ain't seen my kids in 3 years. I pay child support. She slept with my best man on the wedding night. So that's why the divorce happened. She bitter because I found out that she slept with the best man. And the judge better do it. Tell me, how can I get my kids back? Help me, please.
All right. You know what? This is a really common problem that I've been hearing where the mother will not let the father see their child or their children. And it is a really difficult and long process. I know so many people that have gone through this personally. And the only way that you can do this is to actually go to court and establish visitation. It is actually illegal for a mother to keep your kids from you. They can try to say that you're like harmful to the kids or to them and try to do things in that way to make sure that it can't happen. But if that's not the situation, then you do have to go to court. You have to consult with a family law attorney to understand what your options are. I would say a few different things too. Number one, any communication that you have with her, just be aware that that could be used in court. So if you're sending messages or leaving voicemails or doing whatever, and those things are hostile or something that in court a judge will be like, oh my God, you should not be around these people, that could be a danger as well. But document everything. Try to reach an agreement through mediation if you can do that and establish visitation. But if she won't do that, then you are going to have to go to court. Unfortunately for people, this can be something that's extremely time consuming. Sometimes it's months, even a year before you can even get a court date. But once you do, and once you're able to get a court order visitation, then you can go ahead. If she doesn't let you see your kids, then she'll be held in contempt of court, and she could even potentially be arrested. A lot of times you don't want to have to go through that, right? Nobody wants to ever have to go to court. But if you want to see your kids, the earlier you do this, the better. I just suggest talking to a family attorney and figuring out what the best process is going to be. I know that they do have nonprofits that can help with that because, like I said, it's an expensive and long process, but you have to get it started. So I wish you the best of luck. I hope you have a chance to see your kids. The fact that you're paying child support and still can't see your kids, that feels to me like it's absolutely ridiculous. Any parent should not keep their kids away from the other parent because that does more harm to the kids than anything. But a lot of times that's just revenge or whatever it is. So I wish you luck. And if anybody else has any advice, we definitely will take that. As a matter of fact, why don't you guys call us up? 800-292-5150. Anybody out there who's had issues being able to see their kids and have no idea what to do, because people will be like, just show up, just do this. You can get arrested. You can't just pop up at somebody's house and it turns into a hostile situation and then she calls the police. That could be even worse for you. But 800-292-5150. If you've been through this, we'd love to hear from you. It's Way Up.
Yeah, let's go.
Turn me up. Here we go again.
This is Way Up with Angela Yee.
What's up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee. And today, just off of our Ask Yee call, we are talking about relationships between co-parents when the mother will not let the father see the kid. What are the options? I know sometimes people feel like it's helpless. Sometimes people feel like I don't want to have to go to court. People feel like it's expensive. But I'm telling you, the longer you wait, the worse it's going to be. Hey, Lamar, how are you?
Hey, what's going on, Angie?
I'm good, thank you. So what do you think? What's some advice if the mom won't let the father see the kids?
So what you said in the beginning is correct. You have to start early. Now, it's difficult to start early because all the emotions is fresh, and as the father, you don't want to rock the boat because you going straight to court, it's going to rock the boat.
Right.
Now, you have to go find yourself a lawyer, but you have to be aware that all these lawyers don't really care as much. If you could find a lawyer that's like, you know, for fathers, who advocates for fathers, it would be the best thing.
What are some questions people should ask to find a good lawyer?
You know, I'll be honest with you. I realized I needed a good lawyer after the second one.
Okay.
Because there was questions that, like, for example, I asked my first lawyer, my baby mother is not letting me take my daughter to Disney World, and he never mentioned it to the courts. He never mentioned to the referee, nothing. My third lawyer, who's an advocate for fathers, she's like, what? That's crazy. Right. And she guaranteed me that she was going to give me that trip, which she did.
Right. Wow. The fact that you had 3 lawyers that you had to go through is wild, and I'm sure it was expensive.
Oh, it was hella expensive. But another thing that's important is that the process, you go through a mediator, then you go through a referee, and then you see the judge. The referee in between can make the decision on the visitation. They don't really want you to go to the judge. I will go straight to the judge. I will ask for a judge, not the referee. Okay. The referee doesn't really care as much because she has so many cases. She just wants to resolve it as fast as possible. I'm trying to tell the referee what I'm going through. She didn't want to hear it.
Okay.
So, and then for me to get the trip to Disney World, I had to talk to a judge to make that happen. And the judge made that decision for me to go to Disney World.
Oof, this is a lot.
Well, so that's why it's important. It's a lot.
But listen, I hear the passion in your voice, and I'm grateful that, you know, I'm happy for you that you were able to at least get what you needed to get and that you started the process and went through it, and that you're sharing with other people because this is important, valuable information.
Yes, it is.
All right. Thank you for calling.
Thank you, Angie. Appreciate you.
Well, thank you guys so much for calling in. And I feel like this is something that we got to get an expert up here or somebody that can help guide people. But that was great advice for when the mother won't let the father see the kids. And I know it happens vice versa as well. 800-292-5150. And when we come back, you guys have the last word.
Up the phone. Tap in. Tap in and get your voice heard.
What the word is.
Here's the last word on Way Up with Angela Yee.
Yo, it's Way Up with Angela Yee. Happy Tuesday. I'm going to miss you guys until tomorrow. But in the meantime, I had a great time today. About Last Night was a fun topic because I hosted that movie screening starring SZA and Keke Palmer one of them days. And out of that, you guys called us up and really talked about whether or not you've dated somebody who stole from you. So I know a lot of you called for last word to discuss that. And then out of Ask Yee, we talked about what do you do when you are a dad and the mom is not allowing you to see your kids? What are the things? What are the rights that you have? And how can you make sure that you rectify that situation? Especially at a time when emotions are high and maybe you guys aren't getting along as parents. How do you make sure that the kids don't suffer in that situation? All right. Well, of course, I'll be back tomorrow. But in the meantime, we want to hear from you. This is your show. It's all about you. 800-292-5150. You guys have the last word.
Well, I'm one of them fathers. I haven't seen my daughter in 6 years. I've been paying child support 6 years, never missed a payment. The mom is literally stunting on me.
I had someone living with me that I ended up, it's actually my child's father. He stole a lot of stuff. I caught on very late in the game. Like, he stole a weed from me. He stole an iPhone before I went to Jamaica. He stolen women Ugg boots from me. He even took the money out of the damn piggy bank.
Going way up, turn up with Angela Yee.